With the NBA draft now officially behind us, we look forward to the next part of the NBA season that excites every die-hard basketball fan, the NBA Summer League. I'm just kidding. Free agency. Now, this year's free agency class doesn't really have a crown jewel like Kevin Durant last year, but there are still a lot of solid players that can help many teams. Now, without further ado, let's get to the top 50 free agents of this year's free agency class. And if there's any players you think I missed out on, or if there's anywhere that you disagree with these rankings, let me know in the comment section down below. Number 50. Tyreke Evans. Tyreke Evans averaged 10 points, 3 rebounds, and 3 assists last year, which is a staggering difference from his first year with Sacramento when he averaged 20 points, 5 rebounds, and 5 assists in his rookie year. Evans is a great scorer, but he isn't the most efficient player around. He'd fit best on a team who really needs scoring off of its bench. Number 49. Tony Allen. Tony Allen's bread and butter has remained the same since he first stepped into the league 13 years ago. The former NBA champion plays lockdown defense, and that has been enough to ensure him a spot in the league despite his inability to generate offense. Number 48, CJ Miles. CJ Miles is definitely a player who is benefiting from the era the NBA is currently in. In a league where shooters are in demand, CJ Miles will receive plenty of phone calls from teams that need shooting, as he shot over 40% from 3 for the first time in his career. Number 47. Shabazz Muhammad. Shabazz Muhammad's basketball career has taken a dip since he was hailed as the best player in his high school class in 2011. Muhammad has had a tough time fitting in at UCLA and had an even more difficult time with the Minnesota Timberwolves. A change of scenery would be great for Muhammad, as I believe he can be a really great contributor if he was not stuck on a team who is loaded with talent on the wing. Shabazz is a volume scorer and is only 1 year older than Joel Embiid, so there may even be a possibility that he grows into an above average player if the right team can unlock his potential. Number 46, Amir Johnson. Amir Johnson was the glue that held the Boston Celtics together and provided a veteran presence for a team that was not only the #1 seed in the East, but also made it all the way to the Eastern Conference Finals. Number 45, Nene. Nene is very fit for a center, and I believe that this is a result of the Mike D'Antoni offense that requires him to run up and down the court. He was a very consistent contributor for the Rockets and was absolutely fantastic in the NBA playoffs this year. I would be surprised if the Rockets didn't elect to bring him back. Number 44, Tony Snell. The 25-year-old Snell improved his field goal percentage to 45% from 37% the year before, and has shot 41% from the 3 this year. He's shown flashes of brilliance here and there, but suffers from inconsistency. Number 43, Joe Ingles. Ingles doesn't put up jaw-dropping numbers, but does a lot of the dirty work that you would want a player to do, which makes him an excellent role player coming off of the bench. Number 42, Bojan Bogdanović. By the way, if I said Bojan Bogdanović correctly, could you guys dap me up in the comment section? Because while I was making this video, I was thinking, goodness, how am I gonna say his name? And I think I actually nailed it. But Bogdanović should get paid for the same reason we see CJ Miles get paid. He's an incredible 3-point sniper, and in this day and age, 3-point shooters get paid, bro. Expect Bogdanović to latch on with a contender who is in need of 3-point shooting, or even a team like the Houston Rockets who can inflate his numbers. Number 41, Jonathon Simmons. The latest from the Greg Popovich gem tree, and you're gonna hear the Greg Popovich gem tree a lot in this video, so whenever I say gem tree, I mean players that Greg Popovich seemingly brings out from nowhere that turn into great contributors in his motion offense. Simmons is set to hit restricted free agency, and he has shown great poise and flashes of athletic brilliance at times with the Spurs. Simmons plays great defense, has an excellent motor, and is easily the most athletic player on the San Antonio Spurs, although that might not be saying much. Number 40, James Johnson. James Johnson seemed to come out of nowhere this season as he got into great shape with the Miami Heat and was easily one of the biggest reasons why they had such a great season. Johnson could play at either forward spot, and I would be surprised if he doesn't return to the team that helped establish him and give him his new identity. Number 39, Aron Baynes. Baynes is a great traditional backup center who has no problem getting his hands dirty and will play physical whenever he sees the hardwood. Number 38, Kelly Olynyk. Boston Celtic fans are possibly gonna burn me at the stake for having Olynyk this low, as he is easily one of the top 5 greatest players in NBA history after that incredible performance in the Eastern Conference Finals. All jokes aside, Olynyk is still very young, is a 7-foot center, and figures to be a very productive bench big man for years to come. Number 37, Shaun Livingston. Shaun Livingston is one of the greatest stories in NBA history. After suffering from the absolute worst injury I've ever seen in an NBA game during the early stages of his career with the Los Angeles Clippers, Livingston has come back and carved a role for himself in the NBA. Livingston has a very old school game, but can get away with it due to his size as a 6'7" point guard. He possesses an awesome mid-range jumper and is a great fit for those who are looking to run Golden State's pace and space up-tempo offense. Number 36, Nikola Mirotić. Mirotić was very hyped coming into the NBA from Europe because he was considered a superstar in Europe. He started his NBA career off strong, but ever since has been fairly underwhelming. Regardless, Mirotić is a power forward who has no problems hitting the three-point jumper, which in this day and age is what most teams are looking for. But don't be surprised if the Bulls match whatever offer he receives, as they are in a full rebuild after trading Jimmy Butler. Number 35, Taj Gibson. Taj Gibson has been a picture of consistency thus far in his career. He mostly came off of the bench for the past couple of seasons, but is a great contributor and defensive presence. Taj is always someone you can count on as a role player. Number 34, André Roberson. Roberson is one of the most likely players to get overpaid in NBA free agency, which is fairly odd to me. Roberson isn't a 3-and-D, he's just a D. He can't shoot a three-pointer for his life and is pretty much Tony Allen with greater physical tools. Number 33, Dewayne Dedmon. Another one of Greg Popovich's gems that seem to come out of nowhere. Dedmon had a great year this year for the Spurs and is an excellent defensive presence who has no problems catching his alley-oop lob. Number 32, Zach Randolph. At this point of his career, Zach Randolph has made $175 million and is about 35 years old. I wouldn't be surprised if Randolph took a pay cut to begin ring chasing with a title contender like the Golden State Warriors. Randolph has been consistent as a sixth man and is still an excellent post player. Number 31, Kyle Korver. Kyle Korver will still get paid despite of his ripe age of 36 because of the market for three-point snipers is incredibly high. And Kyle Korver is, well, Kyle Korver. Whenever you think three-point shooting in this day and age, you think of Kyle Korver. He's always been one of the best three-point shooters in the NBA. Number 30, Patrick Mills. Another gem from the Popovich Spurs gem tree. You see a trend here? Patty Mills is a scrappy, high-energy point guard for the San Antonio Spurs. Mills stepped up when the Spurs called upon him in the NBA playoffs and made threes at a very high rate in the NBA this season. Number 29, Tim Hardaway Jr. Another player who has a great chance of getting overpaid this year as he put together his best season in his contract year. Hardaway Jr. reminds me a lot of the Denver Nuggets version of J.R. Smith in the way that they are both streaky and athletic. They both have times of excellent play, and they both have times that just make you scratch your head. Number 28, PJ Tucker. PJ Tucker was supposed to be Toronto's LeBron killer in this year's playoffs, as the Raptors seemed all in for this year after dealing for him. Although he fell short of stopping LeBron James, there is no denying what he brings to a team that needs defense. Number 27, Ersan İlyasova. Ersan İlyasova is a big man that has proven over the years that you can count on him to score at least 12 points per game and grab at least 6 rebounds per game. He stretches the floor easily and has moments where he goes on scoring tears. Number 26, Rajon Rondo. Rondo has been one of the enigmas in free agency. Prior to the playoffs, Rondo's stock took a very deep fall and looked like it would never recover, but a great playoff series prior to him getting injured helped change that. The fact that the Bulls struggled winning another game without him after nearly defeating the top-seeded Boston Celtics should only help his stock as a free agent. Number 25, Dion Waiters. Waiters had a breakout season in Miami as Pat Riley helped get him into world-class shape. Waiters showed off a new aura of confidence after that three-pointer he hit against the Golden State Warriors and brought a new swagger to his play. Look for him to cash in this offseason. but I wouldn't be surprised if Miami shelled out what was necessary to retain his services. Number 24, Derrick Rose. Rose played fairly well in New York, and if we stop expecting him to return to MVP form, we'd be very pleased with what Derrick Rose can bring to an NBA team. Rose went AWOL early this year prior to a game versus New Orleans, and New York seemed to have no problem with it. So long as you don't miss your exit interview, Derrick, you should be A-okay. Number 23, Rudy Gay. Don't be surprised if Rudy Gay pulls off a Wesley Matthews and gets a big contract following a season-ending injury. Gay definitely conveyed his confidence when he opted out of his contract with the Sacramento Kings. Although his athleticism would probably be gone at this point, Gay should still be a great contributor and scorer for any team that inquires about his services. Number 26, Mason Plumlee. I really doubt that the Nuggets will let Plumlee go. Considering that they gave up Jusuf Nurkic to get him, he's been a solid center for his career for the teams he's played for. Number 21, Kentavious Caldwell-Pope. Yet another restricted player that I doubt will leave the team he's been playing for. Caldwell-Pope has established himself as the face of the Detroit Pistons rebuild after Andre Drummond fell short of expectations this year. He's a beacon of hope for fans of Detroit, and I really doubt that the Pistons won't match whatever contract he receives. Number 20, Dirk Nowitzki. Dirk seemed to take a step back this year as Father Time seemed to finally catch up with him. Despite this, Dirk has remained adamant that he is not looking to retire. I don't see him signing anywhere else at this point but the Dallas Mavericks, and actually look forward to a potential of a Dennis Smith, Dirk Nowitzki pick and pop. That should be extremely fun to watch. Number 19, JJ Redick. JJ Redick is one of the best shooters in the league today. I personally can't believe he's already 34 because it seems just like yesterday I was watching this guy duel with Adam Morrison in the NCAA. He's a terrific locker room presence. Despite him taking a step back this year, I expect him to get plenty of great offers from teams that need shooting. Number 18, Nerlens Noel. Look for the former number 6 overall pick to get the max no matter what. Whether that be from the Dallas Mavericks or some other team remains to be seen. Nerlens has a history of injury issues, but is very athletic and is a great defender. Number 17, Andre Iguodala. Andre Iguodala brings a championship pedigree, defense, and efficiency to whatever team he chooses to sign with. He'd make for an excellent locker room presence and has no problem accepting any role that is assigned to him. He is the ultimate team player. There are rumors of teams being willing to offer as much as $20 million a year to Andre Iguodala. Number 16, Jeff Teague. Look for Teague to move on from Indiana as the team seems headed toward a rebuild. Teague is only 28 years old and looks to have a lot of great basketball ahead of him. He averaged 15 points and 8 assists and 4 rebounds per game this season. Number 15, Greg Monroe. Monroe hasn't been very successful with the Milwaukee Bucks and has a bit of an outdated basketball game due to his low post prowess. This isn't exactly the best in the pace and space modern NBA, but on top of that, he isn't exactly a great defensive presence either, in spite of how tall he is. Number 14, Otto Porter. Porter is another player who seemed to have broke out at the perfect time for himself. Porter is a restricted free agent who is bound to get a maximum offer from some team in restricted free agency. He's a great defender, can hit the 3, and actually shot at the highest efficiency rating from 3 this year. Look for some team to offer this guy the max, and look for my man Otto Porter to cash in. Number 13, George Hill. George Hill has a reputation for being reliable and is actually linked to a potential reunion with the San Antonio Spurs. He was injured this year and missed a lot of games, but is coming off of his best performance on the offensive end this year. Number 12, Dwyane Wade. Dwyane Wade has started to show his age and was not a great fit in Chicago. The opt-in isn't official, and there are rumors that Chicago plans to buy him out of his contract. And why would he not accept that? Considering the fact that the team is headed towards a rebuild and Dwyane Wade is 35, on top of the fact that they just traded Jimmy Butler for a box of peanuts, then that makes a lot of sense for Dwyane Wade to leave. Once Chicago buys him out of his contract, who knows what path Wade would choose? He has already won 3 NBA championships, so will he pursue yet another one? Will he try to reunite with LeBron James or latch onto another contender? Or will he just simply go to the highest bidder? Anything is possible for Dwyane Wade because he has seemed to accomplish anything and everything an NBA player would want from his career. He's made a ton of money, he's won championships, and is very decorated. At this point, he may just want to go to a nice locker room and just hang out and play the rest of his days out. Who knows? Number 11, Pau Gasol. Don't let Gasol's numbers fool you, as he was one of the many players who sacrificed stats in order to fit in with what the San Antonio Spurs do. Gasol already opted out of a very generous contract to take a pay cut with the Spurs, which implies he values winning over everything and is likely to re-sign with the Spurs, which I wouldn't blame him for. His game and the Spurs offense seem to be a match made in heaven. Number 10, Serge Ibaka. He's no longer the perennial Defensive Player of the Year candidate, but Serge Ibaka remains a high-quality power forward with a consistently improving three-point jumper. Ibaka is a great rim protector and can contribute for any team that is looking for defense without wanting to sacrifice offense. Number 9, Danilo Gallinari. Another player that is benefiting from the pace and space era, Gallinari is a 6'10" forward with an incredibly long-range jump shot. Expect him to cash in on this great situation with a huge mega deal this offseason, as he is also coming off of a year where he averaged 18 points per game. Number 8, Jrue Holiday. Will Holiday re-sign with the Pelicans for a chance to play with DeMarcus Cousins and Anthony Davis, or will he hit the open market looking to move on from New Orleans? When Jrue Holiday is healthy, he is a great player who does everything you would want from your starting point guard, but that's the problem. His health hasn't been a picture of consistency since when he first entered the league. Number 7, Paul Millsap. A player that has been a consistent overachiever from the moment that he was drafted in the deep second round and stepped onto the court for the very first time. He may not be the superstar player, but he has a great impact on both sides of the floor. After the Hawks decided to trade Dwight Howard, don't be surprised if they continue to clean house and move on from Paul Millsap as well. Number 6, Kyle Lowry. The story of Kyle Lowry has always been to perform very well in the regular season and put up all-star caliber numbers, but underperform once his team gets to the playoffs. The guard was rumored to be on his way out of Toronto for the Philadelphia Sixers, but after the Philadelphia 76ers drafted Markelle Fultz, Kyle Lowry tweeted his fans and said, "Don't believe everything you hear, and don't be surprised if he decides to stay in Toronto." Number 5, Chris Paul. Chris Paul is now in his mid-30s, and what's unfortunate about his career is that although he is an incredible player and one of the top point guards of our generation, his team has never been able to make it to the NBA Finals due to either injuries to the roster or injuries to the roster. Yes, he has had an opportunity to take the Clippers deep into the playoffs and has blown leads before, but CP3 deserved way more opportunities than he has been given. Despite his ripe age, CP3 hasn't missed a step and is still one of the most dominant guards in the game today. I wouldn't be surprised if he finds himself on the San Antonio Spurs after Pau Gasol took a pay cut. Number 4, Blake Griffin. Blake Griffin's injury problems may be one of the main reasons why the Clippers have not yet been able to win a championship. And honestly, I'm not exactly sure what leaving Los Angeles does for him in that case. When healthy, Blake Griffin is one of the most electrifying players to watch in the NBA, but that's a pretty big if in itself. Number 3, Gordon Hayward. Gordon Hayward broke out this season and will probably choose between the Miami Heat, Boston Celtics, and Utah Jazz to decide where he spends his career next. I personally think he is the missing piece for Boston, and there are rumors that Paul George may be willing to extend with Boston if they sign Gordon Hayward. Brad Stevens was Gordon Hayward's former college coach at Butler and is currently in Boston alongside a plethora of young NBA players such as Marcus Smart, Jaylen Brown, and Jason Tatum. Isaiah Thomas showed that he is a very capable scorer. Can Hayward find himself in Beantown this season? Number 2, Stephen Curry. You have a greater chance of winning the lottery and getting drafted number 1 overall to the NBA draft in the same day without playing a single NCAA basketball game in your career than Steph Curry leaving the Golden State Warriors. Although he is no longer the best player on his team, Curry is without a doubt the face of the Warriors franchise. Expect him to receive the Supermax from the Warriors and continue his dominance on the NBA's best team for many years to come. Number 1, Kevin Durant. Once again, last year's best free agent is this year's best free agent. The only difference is that Kevin Durant will opt out and take a pay cut so the Warriors can retain their core. Including him on this list was more of a formality because he has already repeatedly said that he will not leave the Golden State Warriors after winning his first NBA championship. And those are our top 50, guys. Do you agree with the list that I made? Would you do anything different? Where do you think these free agents are gonna go? Let me know in the comment section down below for a chance to be featured in the next episode. And also, guys, if you haven't already subscribed to this NBA channel, be sure to do so, because without a doubt, this is gonna be one of the greatest NBA channels to subscribe to for daily NBA news and videos such as these. Besides that, I'm your boy, TheFlightMike, and I'm signing out, baby. Peace! Woo!